Hello, I'm going to present the negative constructive for Spencer Hibbard's affirmative on the following topic. The United States federal government should increase its development of Earth's moon in one or more of the following categories: energy, minerals, and or water. I will present each topic/issue established in the affirmative argument and then present my plan meet advantage arguments and disadvantages. The affirmative provides the following argument. It says, if the moon is not developed and sustainable for life, the following issues will occur on Earth. So issue number one is pollution. The argument states that coal is the most used energy resource. It also states that coal creates acid rain, contaminated land and water, which causes birth defects and respiratory disease that account for 25,000 deaths per year. Issue number two states that is greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are making Earth warmer. Greenhouse gases will cause beach cities to be underwater, and sea levels are rising and have risen. Issue number three is overpopulation. It's soon going to cause more resources than the world can produce. Earth's population right now is a little over 7 billion and is projected to be at 10 billion by 2050. And issue number four is nuclear warfare. Now, the argument doesn't really go into detail about nuclear warfare. It just states that nuclear warfare will happen if the moon is not developed. So next I have my plan meet advantages, and subpoint A is the affirmative plan says helium-3 will end the issues created by coal. However, this is not possible. According to americaspace.com, helium-3 reactors haven't been invented. If we did bring back helium-3 from the moon, we'd have to figure out just how to harness the energy potential in the material. Commercial fusion plants haven't even been, don't even exist yet. So commercial reactors using helium-3 are far in the future. Also, we know how to get to the moon, having been there with Apollo. We currently don't have the technology to make returning a reality. We'd have to research, test, and build that technology, not to mention the same for the technology to mine the moon itself and develop a system and bring helium-3 back to Earth. And finding an outfit to foot the bill would be incredibly difficult. So subpoint B, the affirmative states that energy created on the moon will be able to reverse climate change and caused by greenhouse gas emissions. However, climate change is not reversible, and therefore this is not possible. A 2007 MIT study says the notion that we can reverse climate change by cutting emissions is one of the most commonly held myths. We are stuck with whatever climate change we have, we already caused. So the fact is, we would need an immediate cut of around 60–70% globally and continue further cuts over time merely to stabilize atmospheric concentrations of CO2. And that would still leave us with an imbalance that would lead to an additional 0.3 to 0.8 degrees Celsius warming over the 21st century. And that's assuming that no major carbon cycle feedbacks kick in, which seems highly unlikely to happen. We'd also have to drop total global emissions to zero now and for the rest of the century to lower concentrations enough to stop temperatures from rising. Again, even in this implausible scenario, the great ice sheets will still continue to disintegrate because the climate change we have already caused is not going to go away. So point C is The affirmative plan shows that terraforming the moon will end overpopulation and preserve resources on Earth. This plan sounds like a great idea, however, it's not realistic. Long-term exposure to lunar environment has never been studied in depth, and therefore many dangers of living. There are many dangers of living in space. The moon has no atmosphere, no weather, and no oceans of water. Astronauts have lived on the surface only up to 3 days at a time. The toxicity of lunar dust makes terraforming the moon questionable. UniverseToday.com states the most harmful effects of lunar dust would come from inhalation of particulates. Even though lunar explorers would be wearing protective gear, suit-bound dust can easily make its way back into living and working areas. As Apollo astronauts quickly discovered, once inside the lungs, the superfine, sharp-edged lunar dust could cause a slew of health issues, affecting the respiratory and cardiovascular system and causing anything from airway inflammation to increased risk of various cancers. The extreme elevation of radiation levels on the moon will also not support terraforming. In fact, scientists have found the moon itself is a source of potentially deadly radiation. That being said, it will be impossible to sustain a long-term life in a community on the moon with these conditions. So in conclusion, it's rather obvious that the affirmative case provides weak arguments for developing the moon.